It's episode 6 of this particular series where I focus on women's copy fragrances from the Perfume Parlour. I've got a 5-bottle extract spray haul for you today, which are all mainly brand new releases, and even the originals of some of these only came out within the past 6 months, so they're probably the first clones of these particular scents that you're going to find. And spoiler alert, all of these are absolute bangers, and there's a couple of unisex ones amongst them that I'll definitely be rocking myself, and I'll be hiding them well away out of the way from all my female family members, that's for sure. There's a really nice mix in today's episode, and whether you enjoy pretty florals, gourmands, or something a little bit more dark and exotic, I'm sure there's going to be at least one out of these 5 that are going to prick your interest and make you want to try them. So without further ado, let's find out what's made it into this little exciting new haul. Welcome to Mags Frags. Yes, hello again and welcome to this latest Perfume Parlour inspired episode of Mags Frags. My name's Paul, and if this is the first time that you've stumbled across my channel, then welcome aboard. And if you enjoy discovering inexpensive smell-alike fragrances, then don't forget to also check out the other 4 videos in this series, which you'll find in a dedicated Perfume Parlour playlist on the homepage of my channel. And before I begin today's rundown, if you are interested in picking up any of the fragrances that feature in today's video to try out for yourself, you can use my unique discount code to get yourself 10% off your first order, which I'll leave a link to down in the description. The link will direct you to a login page and you'll just be asked to create a login name and a password, but once you've set up your account and you've logged in and made your purchases, your discount will automatically be applied at the checkout for you. And as always guys, just a quick disclaimer, I don't work for the Perfume Parlour and this video is no way sponsored by them, so these opinions that you're about to hear today are my own opinions, and I did buy these bottles with my own money. I do however receive a small commission just for recommending you to join their website, so just by clicking on the link and joining up and saving you 10%, you will be supporting the channel and helping me to bring you some more free content in the future. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to talk about in today's haul goes by the name of Hazy Fruit, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 1835. This is a copy of Cherry Smoke by Tom Ford, which I did do a full review on just 4 months ago back in January following its launch, so feel free to also go and check that video out. But the annoying and slightly embarrassing thing is that I paid £285 for this 50ml bottle size, and literally 16 weeks later you can pick up this extract spray from the Perfume Parlour for just £20, and there's literally hardly any noticeable difference between the two. The top notes in this are sour cherry and saffron. In the mid we've got leather, olive, Chinese osmanthus and apricot, and the base notes in this are woody notes, smoke and cypriol oil. Yes, so Cherry Smoke smells pretty much as the name would suggest. It's slightly darker smelling than the original Lost Cherry version, with more of a prominent leather note and also a touch of smokiness in there too. You do get a similar scent DNA as Lost Cherry, but this is far less sweet and gourmand smelling, to be honest, and as a general smell I'd say that the original is a little bit more juicy and delicious smelling, especially in the opening, whereas I find this just to be a little bit more grown up and refined, and just better to wear as a fragrance because it's slightly got a darker scent profile, which means you're not walking around just smelling like a cherry jam or like a cherry compote. The leather accord in this is a really nice twist, and I think this version is more suitable for men to wear, even though for me it still does lean ever so slightly feminine. The Perfume Parlour version is almost identical to the original, with the only noticeable difference being that you do get a tiny bit more of the perfumer's alcohol in the opening with this one, whereas the original is velvety smooth right from the initial blast. But give them both 10 minutes to settle down and you can't tell any distinguishable difference between the two. The performance on this is really good, and I would even say that it's ever so slightly stronger and longer lasting than the original, but it's only by a minimal amount. You'll get a solid projection for the first hour or two, and then it's a much softer sillage for the next few hours. But the one thing I did find with the original Cherry Smoke over the Lost Cherry version is that I got waft from this hours after I could no longer detect the Lost Cherry version. So the darker notes in this one definitely give it more longevity. The Perfume Parlour have done a fantastic job with this one, and I absolutely love how it smells. So if you fancy like a rich, sweet and indulgent scent, then this is the one that you've definitely got to try out for yourself. There's also the Perfume Parlour's version of the Electric Cherry just around the corner too, which I'm really looking forward to picking up as soon as it comes into stock. Okay, so the second one in today's list goes by the name of Breeze for Women, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0052. This one is a copy of Windflowers by Creed, which is a floral musky perfume. The top notes in this are orange blossom and peach. In the mid we've got jasmine sambac, tuberose and rose, and the base notes in this are musk, praline, sandalwood and iris. Okay, so this one is a fairly sweet, bright and flowery smelling perfume with lots of soft, soapy white florals. And from the initial spray, you'll get lots of the orange blossom and the peach that instantly comes through. It bears a slight resemblance to Chanel Coco Mademoiselle because of that dominant orange blossom note, but I'd say that this is a little bit more light and delicate with a touch more fruity sweetness, with that inclusion of the peach rather than the tart citruses found in the Coco Mademoiselle. It's a really clean and pretty smelling scent that I'd describe as ultra feminine, and it has an airy kind of outdoorsy quality to it that makes you think of hot sunny summer days amongst when you like kind of walking amongst the flower beds. And I think the mild tuberose and jasmine sambac in the heart of the scent just amplifies the summery feel and gives it a slight suntan lotion vibe. The dry down is very soft, and all the notes in the base are either powdery or creamy smooth, with praline, iris, sandalwood and musk just gently supporting all these super clean smelling white florals in the heart. And it's a really pleasant smelling perfume on the whole. But in my opinion, the £260 price tag on the original is way too steep, and although it's very nice, it's definitely not twice the price of the Chanel Nice. See what I did there? That should have been a rapper. The Perfume Parlour version again is absolutely perfect, and it's super long lasting with a decent projection, and for £20 you can't go wrong. It's really safe blind buy for the spring and summer, and one that you definitely need to try out for yourself. Okay, so this next one is the only one in today's list that I don't actually own a copy of the original version, but I did manage to get to smell it a couple of days ago whilst I was out on a shopping trip, and I brought a tester strip home to compare it with this one. But this is called Raqmu, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 1248. This is a copy of Legacy of Petra by Penhaligons. The top notes in this are bergamot, fennel and green tea. In the mid we've got rosemary, olibanum, licorice and myrrh. And the base notes in this are woody notes, vanilla and benzoin. Okay, so from the initial spray of this one, you are going to get tons of the licorice notes, right to the point where you have to concentrate really hard to actually notice anything else. The licorice note is really dominant in the opening, but after a few minutes, you will start to pick up on some of the ambery sweetness from the resinous notes of olibanum, the benzoin and the myrrh. But it's a really bold introduction with some spiciness, and you do get the occasional waft of the green tea note, and also like a slightly dry tobacco leaf type accord which is lurking in the background even though it's not listed in the notes. In the far dry down you'll get more of the sweeter notes which come through, and this is where the vanilla becomes more noticeable. But for the most part it's quite a sharp medicinal type fragrance with the licorice note taking centre stage. It's definitely the most complex and daring and unique fragrance in today's haul, and it won't appeal to everybody, but I think it smells great, and for me it sits right there alongside the likes of Halfeti and Cairo in the Penhaligons range. It has a fairly dry, dusty Middle Eastern quality with an exotic scent profile that smells really unique and interesting. I wore the Perfume Parlour version yesterday and I just kept getting lovely wafts of it all day long, so the performance is great, and it's also one that I'll be wearing very often from now, and I might even pick up a bottle of the original if I can find it at a decent price. Okay, so the fourth one in today's list is called Oxymoron For Women, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0082. This one is a copy of Paradoxe by Prada, which is an amber floral perfume that came out in late 2022. The top notes in this are pear, tangerine and bergamot. In the mid we've got orange blossom, neroli essence, neroli and jasmine sambac. And the base notes in this are bourbon vanilla, amber, white musk and benzoin. Yeah, so this one opens up very sweet and fruity with the pear and the tangerine quite prominent, but you also get plenty of white florals including neroli, jasmine and also the orange blossom. So you get like a fruity pear scented shampoo type smell that's very mass appealing and likeable, but probably not the most unique. I've only been reviewing women's perfumes for about a year now, and already I've come across this type of scent profile several times. So if you are on the lookout for something a bit quirky and new, then this definitely isn't it. But it's a really good everyday perfume that's extremely pleasant and a pretty safe blind buy if you are on the lookout for a decent all-round versatile scent. Again, this extract spray to my nose is extremely accurate to the original, and I just couldn't tell them apart in the air. I do get more of a younger woman's vibe from this though, so I think it'd be great for someone maybe in her 20s or early 30s, whereas the Windflowers copy that I've just spoken about earlier seems to have more of a sophisticated grown-up quality, even though they're both kind of sweet fruity florals. This is just a bit more loud and in your face, so it will command lots more of attention, and I think it'd be better suited to wear maybe on a night out, whereas the Windflowers copy is better suited to wear as maybe a work or an office perfume because it is a touch more delicate and laid back. The performance on this is really strong, and for the first couple of hours I'd say that this is the strongest one in today's list, with a room-filling projection, and it lasts a good 6 to 7 hours before you'll need to reapply it. And the final one in today's list is called Flamy Fruit, and the Perfume Parlour code on this is 0083. This one is a copy of Lovefest Burning Cherry by Kayali. The top notes in this are burnt cherry, raspberry and bergamot. In the mid we've got praline, heliotrope, damask rose and jasmine sambac, and the base notes in this are palo santo, tonka bean, guaiac wood, ambretolide, Peru balsam, patchouli and Haitian vetiver. Okay, so the first question that I know I'm going to get asked about this one is how does it compare to the cherry smoke copy that I spoke about earlier? And the answer is that this is way more sweet and it's more cherry forward in the opening with a sweet cherry pie-like aroma. And you also get this almost like plasticky synthetic quality that these cherry perfumes all seem to have. It's probably more comparable to Lost Cherry in the opening, but after the first 5 or 10 minutes or so it's quite different, and this one tends to go off in its own direction, taking on more of what I'd describe as masculine accords, because it becomes more boozy, woody and smoky the further into the dry down that you get. And I get like little fleeting reminders of Pure Havane by Mugler, which is now discontinued, and it was one of my all-time favourite fragrances. It does stay very sweet though throughout, because once the cherry fades after about the 10-minute mark, the praline and the tonka beans just take over and just retain some of the sweetness. And this is one that I'd have no problem wearing myself. The Perfume Parlour copy is about 90% similar, but it lacks the booziness of the original Kayali version. So call me cynical, but I suspect that this just might be the Perfume Parlour's interpretation of Lost Cherry, but just with a different sticker on it. But maybe I'm totally wrong, but this smells more like Lost Cherry than it does the original version of this one. Okay, so in summary, I think all of these in today's haul smell fantastic, and there's none that I wouldn't recommend, but the standout one for me personally is the Legacy of Petra copy, because it's the most unique and interesting one, but it's possibly also the most complex one out of the 5. Out of the 2 cherry ones, I think I slightly prefer the Hazy Fruit, which is the Tom Ford smoked cherry copy, and out of the 2 florals I would probably go for the Windflowers copy over the Paradoxe copy, because it's just a bit more subtle and classy smelling in my opinion. But like I say, you can't go wrong with any of these that are featured in today's video, so if you like the sound of any of them, then have fun discovering them for yourself. Okay, so that's about it for this latest episode. And can you believe it's actually been 3 months since I last produced one of these Perfume Parlour haul videos? I don't know where time goes, but I'll definitely try not to leave it so long before I produce my next one. Also, don't forget to check out some of my other Perfume Parlour haul videos in the Perfume Parlour playlist on the homepage of my channel, because they aren't all aimed at men, and there's some fantastic unisex fragrances to discover amongst them. So dive in and you might just stumble across some hidden gems. I hope you have lots of fun discovering some new signature scents, and if you found this video useful in any way, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to also subscribe to the channel, and that way you won't miss any future uploads. So once again, thank you very much for tuning into this latest episode. Stay safe, keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye bye for now.